The problem with episodics is that it's hard to carry over things from the previous episode, especially shifts in character dynamics. If each episode is supposed to be able to stand alone, you usually can't make major shifts in the dynamics. This is a problem because after the last episode, the Titans should have trust issues with Robin for all episodes leading up to the season finale, but I don't believe this is the case. Instead, everything resets. In this episode, the Titans start off captured by Mad Mod. This show has consistently done a great job at introducing its episodes in a quick and interesting manner. This is one of the few goofy episodes where there isn't really an internal conflict. I believe every season has at least one. Don't Touch That Dial with Control Freak is another one that comes to mind. The way Robin picks his handcuffs is familiar. I could swear Batman did something similar in JLU or another cartoon. If not, it's still very Batman-esque. I also like the detail that Robin uses his own equipment. In actual comics or other cartoons, he uses Bat-themed tech like batarangs, but here, they make him his own hero and give him Robin-themed tech like birdrangs. This episode has no B-plot at all. It's just fun action and chase scenes. That's not bad, but it's not as good as the other episodes. Robin once again shows that he's him by being the first one to escape and save an ally. The song, Titans Repeat Grade, goes hard. I only noticed this when listening on Spotify. As you can see by their interactions, Star has seemingly forgotten about the stunt Robin pulled last episode, or maybe time has passed and everyone already forgave him. That would also be disappointing, because I believe the consequences should have been shown for at least another episode to really hammer home the severity of his actions. Otherwise, it would feel like what he did wasn't even that bad. I don't think this episode has a theme. It was overall passable. Not great, but not bad. This is a Cyborg and Raven episode that really focuses on the mechanic side of the former. This side has been shown in other episodes like Deep Six, but this is the first time the character trait has been put in the spotlight. This is the first appearance of the T-Car, built by Cyborg, which will stay in the story. The song that plays is called Cyborg's Baby, and it sounds so unique from anything before. This OST has so much range. I like how they add things to the setting that remain for the rest of the story. Where did he get that weird card from though? Raven is the only one who doesn't care, which makes her the perfect character to be paired with Cyborg this episode. The writers are so good at setting up conflict. Cyborg is shown to be obsessed with his car through his overprotectiveness of it, and is boasting about it. This man stops to brag about his car while the other Titans are fighting. More great setup. Overload being an electrical villain makes him the perfect antagonist for this episode. The strategy of soaking him was brilliant. I wish more fights had legitimate strategies for defeating foes, like the Batman 2004. Side note, that show probably had the best tactical fights out of any cartoon I've seen. There were plenty of times where Batman would fight a foe, lose, and then come back with a new strategy based on the first loss. He used the Batbot to beat Bane, used the Anti-Freeze suit to fight Mr. Freeze, and used the Batglider to fight Firefly. After the fight, the suspicious kid stole the T-Car. Cyborg is depressed, and his obsession with the car is highlighted by the fact that he wants to go after the car before turning Overload in. And then Raven throws fuel on the flame by saying it's just a car. This pisses Cyborg off, and he actually ditches the Titans to find his car. The Scums get the car stolen by Gizmo. Side note, Gizmo is the only Hive member to appear in episodes without the rest. To be fair, Gizmo, being a tech person, fits as another antagonist. The song is Gizmo Steals Car, and this song also sounds epic. Cyborg momentarily bonding with the two thieves when talking about his car was funny and in character, once again showing his obsession with the T-Car. Raven comes to console Cyborg and realizes that the way she puts her soul into her powers is similar to the way Cyborg put his soul into the car. This is great writing, but a small issue is that we don't see what makes her change her mind. Her change just happens off screen. If there was at least a scene showing why she changed her mind, this would be perfect. Raven has an arc of disrespecting the T-Car to respecting the T-Car, while Cyborg has an arc of having great value in the car to losing the value, then back to valuing it again. This is a full circle arc. I like how the start of Raven's arc is what caused Cyborg to fall, and the change from Raven's arc is what allowed Cyborg to rise again. Stealing the car of the thieves is nice poetic symmetry, and Raven being the one to help Cyborg after being the only one to have an issue with him is just phenomenal basic writing. The Gizmo chase smoothly transitions into a Chekhov's Overload. Gizmo crashes the T-Car into the police truck carrying the villain, allowing him to take over it. The track playing during this scene is sick. The track is called Overload Takes Car. Overload then pulls a Green Goblin. That's what I'm going to start calling the event when a villain forces the hero to choose between two things they value. Overload forces Cyborg to choose between stopping him and preserving the T-Car. Now I gotta bring out my McKee quote. True character is revealed in the choices a human being makes under pressure. The greater the pressure, the deeper the revelation, the truer the choice to the character's essential nature. End quote. Cyborg has been perfectly set up as caring about his car more than crime stopping. He's been drooling over his car for this entire episode, but this is especially evident when he chooses to find his car overturning in overload. But here, he's put to the test, and he chooses to sacrifice his car to stop crime. Raven brings Cyborg out of his slump with an inspirational quote, which is probably the theme. The thing you loved about that car, the thing that made her special, it came from inside you. End quote. The theme could probably be extrapolated to, it's what's inside that counts. This causes the episode to end how it started, once again. This move is actually part of Dan Harmon's story circle. Step 7 and 8 specifically, the hero returns to a familiar situation having changed. He's building the car like at the start, but this time Raven is helping. This is some movie level writing. They got the whole Pixar pairing together opposites thing going on, combined with great internal conflicts, arcs, climaxes, and antagonists. If you told me there would be a great Cyborg and Raven episode before this, I would have doubted you, but this ended up being one of my favorites from the season, second favorite so far. Once again, I must remind you that there were no ripple effects from masks. No one has problems with Robin. This episode was written by Amy Wolfram. She also wrote a lot of Terror episodes, Betrothed, The Quest, which I love, Shock, which is also great, The End Part 1, Trust, Calling All Titans Part 1, and Things Change. She's stacked when it comes to accomplishments in this story. Teen Titans might have had some of the best writers in the game. Now, we arrive at the two-part finale. This episode starts en media res, with Robin chasing Slade, straight to business. The track during this scene is cool. It's called Robin's Enigma. Robin is kinda getting schooled by Slade, the only one colder than him. I like the little first-person shots they do during the action scenes, when we see the attack storm from the attacker's perspective. They're usually the best-looking and most creative scenes. Slade says they're equally matched and equally ruthless, except Robin didn't land a single successful hit on Slade. Meanwhile, Slade caught this man's fist. Slade continues to go on about them being similar. The rocks that crash turn into his friends when Slade says, "All you care about you destroy." This message would have hit harder if there was a rift between his team in the last 2 episodes. Robin removes the mask and they pull an Empire Strikes Back when it's revealed to be Robin. Robin wakes up from the dream and Cyborg says that Slade's back. Great cold open, maybe the greatest so far. I just realized this, but if Masks was episode 11 instead of episode 9, the weight of his actions would have carried on just fine. I was always hoping that Slade's plan wasn't a letdown since it's been hyped up for so long, but freezing the entire town does live up to the hype. I like how Slade just straight up tells them because he was too good at hiding it and he's so confident that they can't stop him. For the first time, the ripple effects from Masks take place. The Titans don't want Robin out on the field when it comes to Slade. Sadly, they just kinda trust him when he says he can handle it. The characterization in every episode has been wonderful except for the few times I've mentioned someone being out of character. The action directing stands out in this episode. The bit where Robin threw his staff, it came back to him, and then he immediately threw it at someone behind him was probably the best choreography the cartoon has delivered so far. Watching Robin steal everyone's goons is not only hilarious, but it's a great way of showing his obsession. When he started pummeling the beaten droid, it reminded me of Batman, specifically the 2022 movie. The song here is Robin Army of One. Robin interrogating the innocent guy also shows his obsession and feels Batman-esque. The fact that someone had to use their powers to stop him shows how far gone he is. And then BB comparing Robin to Slade puts the nail in the coffin. What's interesting is that an actual detective strategy is thinking like the criminal you're chasing. Robin seems to be metaphorically taking this to the extreme by also acting like Slade. I say metaphorically because I don't think that's his intention. I believe they are just similar people. Starfire's allergy is a little convenient, but I can let it slide because it was strange how the alien foreigner knew what chromium was as soon as it was mentioned, especially considering that Star is usually the clueless one, along with Beast Boy. I like how Robin tries to apologize because it shows his self-awareness. I also like the return of Cinderblock because it shows that Slade is using his pieces. This man really soloed Cinderblock. He's really him. Cinderblock holding a location with Slade's symbol was a little too obvious and should have triggered suspicion in Robin. He then pulls up on Slade with a quip, as usual. In Forces of Nature, a joke was that Cyborg can't fly. I really don't understand why they made this decision. He's a half robot who can transform his body parts into other gear. Why can't he just make a jetpack or wings? This seems so strange, especially since he could fly in the Justice League movie. Meanwhile, Slade is schooling Robin and grabs his fist for the 3rd time. Robin needs to grab Slade's fist before the finishing blow. That would be epic. The song during the fight is Robin Finds Slade. After Slade allows Robin to get in a combo and grab the trigger, he reveals that he was several steps ahead. The trigger was fake, the detonator never existed, and the Titans get shot with a laser, which was the real secret weapon. Slade's plan being to test Robin and force him to be his apprentice is the perfect plan for this season. The similarities have been highlighted several times, so to have his grand plan be for them to work together is beautiful poetry. And then his strategy of threatening his friends is perfect. The internal conflict, Robin being too similar to Slade, is tied to the external conflict, Slade forcing Robin to be his apprentice. Ending the episode with Robin in Slade's suit was crazy. Slade pulled a Green Goblin. He forced Robin to choose between keeping his friends alive and fighting crime. Robin chose his friends. Obviously this is one of the best episodes, but it's a little unfair because it's part of the season finale, which usually contains the best written episodes, especially since they are the finale to the overarching seasonal conflicts. Last episode. Apprentice Part 2 starts with the Titans searching for Robin. I love the reappearance of Cyborg's I Should Have Known. Him blaming himself for an issue is an interesting way of dealing with grief, and I'm glad it was kept consistent. Slade Robin appears, and the Titans have to fight him. The song is titled Search for Robin, another great cold open. Robin being forced to not talk by Slade is a genius and believable way of not immediately solving the conflict. I like how even when Robin threatens Slade, he turns it into a positive by stating how similar they are. The concept of the main antagonist being a foil, an evil reflection of the protagonist, is a brilliant decision. I already have a father, along with the bats was a killer moment. Whoever wrote that deserves a raise. This two-parter was written by David Slack, who also wrote Divide and Conquer, The Sum of His Parts, How Long Is Forever, Fractured, Aftershock with Wolfram, X, Spellbound, The Beast Within, Titan Z's Part 1 and 2, Don't Touch That Dial, Birthmark, Overdrive, Mother May I, The End Part 3, and Go. This man is easily the MVP of the show. Look at that resume. Back to the show. I like how Batman never appears and is never explicitly mentioned. It furthers the motif of Robin being his own hero, not a sidekick. I like how Starfire is the only one that's in denial. It emphasizes her kindness and closeness to Robin. The Titans having to take down a former friend is a cool concept. So cool that it comes up again next season. The music when Robin breaks in is cool. It's called Search for Robin. And seeing Cyborg as the new leader is also great consistency. He says Titans go, and then the fight takes place on the roof of Wayne Enterprise, a subtle nod to Batman. Slade forcing Robin to fight makes the scene more intense. Robin kinda shows that he's that guy again by soloing the Titans, but they aren't going all out on him. The moment when Robin and Star are in a standoff and she puts down her attack was powerful. Slade finally uses the Chekhov's probes because Robin couldn't shoot her. Great moment for Robin. When Robin returns, his fist is caught for the 4th time. This disrespect can't keep happening. Also, he's supposed to be good with quips. What the heck is motivate this? What is he, Vegeta? The two using staffs is another great parallel. This fight makes decent use of the location. I love the part where Slade appears and disappears due to the rotating gears. The choreography was solid, but not as good as that one sequence from the last episode. The Titans coming for Robin, despite the danger the probes pose, shows who they are on a deeper level. I like Starfire being the first to attack, since she trusts Robin the most. Robin choosing to put the probes in himself was a genius way to force Slade to stop, and a great moment that also showed what he valued most. He was willing to sacrifice his life to save his friends and stop a criminal. Earlier, Slade said that Robin hated to lose, which they both shared, so Robin saying, "And I know you hate to lose," was a good callback. Robin caught Slade's leg. Finally. It wasn't the fist, but it's good enough. The Teen Titans hit Slade with a mean combo and forced him to retreat. In the resolution, I like Starfire apologizing for doubting Robin for a moment. Even though the doubt was reasonable, she apologizes because it fits her character. Robin finally gets to admit that he and Slade are alike. But there is one big difference between me and Slade. He doesn't have any friends. This line was brilliant and showed what kind of foil Slade was. I even used this pair as an example of minimal juxtaposition in another video. A foil is a character that's used to highlight traits in another character. Total juxtaposition would be if every single trait was reversed in the other character. But Slade has minimal juxtaposition, which is where most traits are shared, except for one trait, which becomes highlighted in the character being foiled. Here, that trait is friendship. I guess the theme would be, friends keep you on the right path. Robin and his friends defeating a Batman villain shows that these characters aren't sidekicks in this universe, they're heroes. It's a symbolic passing of the mantle. That's why there are no adult heroes above them in this cartoon, and I respect that. That's the end of Season 1. Is this the greatest season in Western cartoons or Western TV ever? Quite possibly. This was simply phenomenal. The plots in each episode were perfectly paced and even had well-written mysteries from time to time. The characters were outstanding. The only major misstep was Forces of Nature with BB and Star. Other than that, they were enjoyable and consistent. The voice acting was also spectacular. Each episode, except for Mad Mod, had a theme that was valuable to all ages and properly executed. The setting was used to build on the external and internal conflicts in unique ways a couple of times. The art and animation looked crisp, and some of the music choices were excellent. The fight choreography was mostly just okay, but it did its job. The story had a mastery of setup and payoff, and several setups still haven't been paid off. The season was so good. And don't get me started on the OST. I'm elated that they finally released it, even if it's 2 decades later. The way songs are crafted for a specific scene and never reused is very movie-like, which is a worthy trait of a movie-quality cartoon. They made 98 songs for 13 episodes. There are 3 composers, Christopher Carter, Lolita Ritmanis, and Michael McQuiston. Sometimes one artist will work on all the songs in an episode. Those seem to be the times where leitmotifs appear. The only thing that would make the score better is if each titan had their own leitmotif that played in songs relating to them across all seasons, just like how great movie scores do. The main villains, like Slade, should also have one too. Here's some trivia. McQuiston made the JLU theme, and Carter made the Batman Beyond theme. Personally, I think this is far superior to Avatar. I used to have them on the same tier, but no longer. I might do a retrospective for Avatar, and that might change my mind, but as of now, Teen Titans is on a tier of its own when it comes to cartoons. My top episodes were Masks, Apprentice, Car Trouble, Nevermore, and Switched in that order. Phenomenal season. Can't wait to watch the next. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.